Welcome back, everybody, to the Gen Extra Podcast. My name is Seamus McNasty. With me, as always, is Bacon. Tonight, we are going to discuss the 1982 film John Carpenter's The Thing, right after this.
What you're about to experience is the Gen Extra Podcast.
With your host, Seamus McNasty and Uncle Bacon.
Hey, Seamus.
Bacon.
Think we got a guest tonight?
We always sort of have a guest sometimes.
Well, it's the usual guest. Can't really call him a guest. He's more of a regular nowadays.
Yeah.
But we got Joey. Joey's going to come in and discuss the thing with us today.
The Thing from another world.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, Joe?
So,
How you guys doing?
discombobulated.
I'm doing all
Yeah.
right.
I noticed.
I'm doing
It was
all right.
it was a rough start to the show.
Yeah, I had noticed that.
42 takes, I think we're at.
That's all that drinking you did before the start of all
You're the
this.
one with a bottle of wine sitting over there.
But I'm not
Another
the
bottle
one
of
messing
wine?
everything up.
He's got a whole bottle. No, there's an empty bottle of wine now, so.
It was half a bottle,
But it's gone now.
and I drank it a half hour before we even started.
Joe.
Shaky Bacon needed his 8 o'clock Chardonnay.
Well, dealing with this guy over here who can't get anything right within 42 takes, had to be ready.
All right, so tonight we're discussing John Carpenter's The Thing from
You sure?
1982.
You sure?
I think that's it.
Sure it ain't from 81?
No, it's 82. It's right there. It's right there. I probably should have looked at that. Start now, huh?
Probably.
Probably. So I would imagine a lot of people have seen this movie.
You would
It's a
think
pretty popular movie back in the day.
it was one of those movies that popped up on Channel 50 in the afternoon back when we was kids.
It was actually a box office flop,
Yeah, that's what I heard.
but it became a cult classic, like most of Carpenter's movies. It didn't do well at the beginning.
Right.
One of the things that I read about the movie was, John, this is one of the only movies that John Carpenter did that he didn't record the score for. He got Ennio Morricone to do it, who we all know from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Django Unchained.
You did Django Unchained?
Yeah, Ennio Morricone did Django Unchained because he did the original Django movies with Franco Nero.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Now,
But
he
yeah,
passed away recently, didn't he? A couple years ago, maybe?
I think he may have. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
But it got a Razzie
Yep.
for worst score ever.
Yeah.
And to be totally honest with you, I went in knowing that. I do not remember the music in this movie.
See, that's one of the things that stood out in this movie, because for the longest time, I thought it was John Carpenter, because John Carpenter usually does the music for his movies.
Right.
And it was and I can't pronounce that guy's name. Ennio Morricone. Is that right?
That's close enough.
He's
He's
did
dead.
this-
He doesn't care,
He does. Yeah, I guess he does.
as far as we know.
Oh.
He did the score in a Carpenter-esque fashion because
Yes.
he wanted to keep it like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understated, evidently, because I do not remember. And I went in knowing that was how it was. So
Right.
yeah, I wasn't.
That's the music is one of the things that stood out my entire life to me.
Really.
Just that melodic low bass. Boom, boom,
Yeah, it's eerie,
boom.
but
Yeah.
again, it's not enough to have made an impact. I was way too concentrated on Kurt Russell's costume.
box.
Yeah, the whole thing he had going on there,
Joe
from
was,
the hair to those sunglasses. I remember those sunglasses specifically because I wanted a pair so bad when I was a kid with the little leather sides on them.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted those so bad.
Ba-
And then,
Bacon was wanting to ask you something about
I
this.
got a couple questions now.
all right. Yeah, let
Um,
it rip.
Do you think Kurt Russell's beard had the same agent as his hair?
No. Kurt Russell's beard had a completely different, it was a female.
Okay.
She recently committed suicide.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was
Now,
tragic.
here's my second question for you, Joe. Bear with me.
All right.
There's a scene where Kurt Russell and a couple of his boys, spoilers, people, obviously, They discover the spaceship. They're on top of the snow
On the crater, yeah.
cliff, and they see the crater with the spaceship.
Yeah.
What kind of hat was he wearing when he was standing there? Because that looked like some type of Canadian Mountie.
I could
I'd
talk
say-
about
It like went up in the back and the front.
I could talk about that fucking hat until Halloween, to be totally honest with you. You know, one of my favorite things to do in movies is to like spot the prop that I want really badly. And you know, like, so if you watch Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
you know, I want the scroll from Munchkin Land. I really want that scroll. But I want this hat so bad. I'm telling you, it's floating around somewhere.
Kurt Russell still has it.
I bet he does.
Yeah.
I would imagine he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen that hat, and I told Seamus that was the first thing I was going to ask you was about that hat.
It's like, what the
That
hell kind of
hat
hat
is-
is that?
Yeah.
That hat is insane. Well, he put it on. He put it on in the helicopter.
Yeah.
When he was flying Doc back to the Norwegian Research Center.
Okay.
So I was like, holy shit, that I wrote that down. It's my third note is what the fuck is with that hat?
Yes.
It's right here.
Fucking parentheses.
Yeah.
That hat.
That and you know that Chris Elliott was the pilot of the Norwegian helicopter.
Chris Elliott.
Yeah. Chris Elliott. You know, Cabin Boy.
No.
Are you serious?
I'm not
Isn't
serious.
You son of a bitch.
No, but if I told you, but see, here's the thing. If I told you that Chris Elliott, you guys remember the movie The Abyss?
Yeah.
If I told you that Chris Elliott was on the bridge of the rescue ship
I remember
in
that.
that movie, would you say the same? Would you be as incredulous?
No, because I remember that.
See,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
That was insane. I was at the theater and I laughed out loud and everybody looked at me like there was something wrong with me. And I
Was he like
I just-
18 in that movie?
Nah, I don't know how old he was, but he I don't think he said anything,
Yeah.
but I laughed so hard and nobody understood what the hell I was laughing about because it wasn't a funny scene, of course, you know, but I'm like, fucking Chris Elliott.
Now, this movie is a remake of a 1951 film called The Thing from Another World.
Which I still haven't seen.
It's pretty
I
good.
saw it a long time ago, and I don't remember it being. I mean, it wasn't gory, obviously, because it was
No.
1951, so
Yeah.
it was more suspenseful because they couldn't do that stuff back then.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it being exciting at all, really. You know.
Yeah. My father showed me it when I was like little because that was one of his favorite Seinfeld
Oh fuck!
movies
Here we go.
when he was little. No, we're not going to dive deep into my psyche again.
It's another. It's another James had a bad upbringing story.
No. I have good memories of this movie. Not bad.
I'm unabashedly. I remember loving this movie. It doesn't age well. I will say that. Like the effects and everything don't age.
Oh,
well.
yeah.
See, I still like the effects.
Do you? Well, you're an effects guy. You
See, I
You like that practical stuff.
I like the effects because they're practical. They're not all computer generated crap.
yeah, but
and-
that's all we had back then. Mostly. I mean, we had
I know, it
other
was so
than
much
Star
better.
Wars. You know, we had mostly, you know, latex and, you know,
Yep. And
spaghetti and.
from what I found out, the original effects artist that they hired to do all the effects had to bring in Stan Winston's crew to do a lot of it because he was so overwhelmed with all the stuff going on in this film that he was just exhausted. He couldn't get everything done.
I was wondering when you were going to bring Stan Winston into this. You are, if I remember correctly, you are Stan Winston's like number one fanboy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
When I was little,
Yeah, here we
I
go.
wanted to be a special effects artist. So
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
I remember those days.
So this movie was originally titled, "Hey, I think there's something wrong with this dog."
Like, what the hell are you talking about? I think the dog has parvo.
I think the dog was smarter than
Parvo.
everybody there.
What's that?
I think the dog was smarter than everybody there in the beginning.
Well, of course he was. He had the alien in him. And here's the thing, man. Those are the calmest dogs. When Richard Mazer, and I'm going to talk about him in a second here because I have a serious problem with Richard Mazer. But when he took the dog back into the kennel, there is no way that those other dogs were just going to lay there and look at that dog.
When we watched it last night, I told Bacon, I'm like, that dog went in there, sat down, and goes, "I'm about to fuck all y'all up."
Don't want none of y'all say a damn thing.
No, as soon as I saw, so it's anytime I see a movie where Richard Mazer pops up on the screen, my brain immediately equates him with Fallen Angel, which is a movie where he was a family friend who, like, he was a pedophile.
Oh,
so
geez.
every time I see Richard Mazer, I'm like, oh, it's the pedophile from that movie.
Oh.
And I can't help it. I can't help it. You know how you do that with actors,
Right?
You're constantly doing, like.
And every time I see him, I think of like someone's dad.
Well, you said he was
plays-
in the Corey
He
movies, right?
played a lot of dads in a
Yep.
lot of movies. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But he played like this creepy guy who took Dana Hill, who was Audrey in European Vacation.
Yeah.
And made her like do dirty movies in his basement.
Oh, I think I remember that movie.
Yeah. You remember that
I
movie.
remember that movie.
Yeah, you remember that.
You
movie.
watched it when you were 7. When your
Probably.
dad was out at the honky tonk.
There's
Which happened a lot.
the character named Windows, the guy with the glasses, Windows.
Yeah.
I found out. I was sitting there watching it with Seamus last night, and I'm like, he looks familiar. He looks familiar. He looks familiar. I looked it up. He played a character in The Warriors.
Warriors, come
Oh
on.
my God, I haven't seen that movie, and we have to do that movie.
I got that at home.
We need to do Warriors.
Yeah, that is.
There were
definitely a
so many B movie stars in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Wilford Brimley, without the mustache.
A young, what did you say? A young old Wilford Brimley.
Because
Like,
he's
kinda
really
old.
He was old.
Yeah, he was probably in his late 40s or something. I don't know. Wilford Brimley, he was like 300 years old when he died. But then the guy who played the guy who was the doctor who went to the Norwegian Research Center,
Yeah.
he was in a Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah.
He played the bad guy in that, like the bad patriarch man.
Yep. The guy that wore the blue jean vest with all the patches.
Yeah, who was
I think
he?
it was David Clennon. He's in a ton of stuff back in the 80s. TK Carter.
TK Carter. Yep.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
The roller skating cook.
Or Keith
Yeah.
David. Yeah.
And let's not forget the best actor in the whole movie,
Hello, he's gonna say. He's gonna say
He's
it.
gonna say the dog.
Keith David,
Chief
Nice.
David. Chief David.
who
yes.
delivered my favorite line of this whole movie, because I love fucked up lines.
You believe in this voodoo?
You believe in this
bullshit?
voodoo bullshit?
That's it.
You believe any of this voodoo bullshit, Blair?
I made a note of that last night. Believe in this voodoo bullshit.
Yep.
This was actually his first credited movie role.
Really?
Yep.
Now that I didn't know.
Yes,
That I didn't
sir.
know.
Yep.
What a long and illustrious and awesome. He makes every movie better.
Yes, yes.
He makes every movie better. When he shows up in Something About Mary, the movie just gets it just gets better. Like from that point forward, it's a better movie.
He's done a lot of voiceovers
Yeah.
for cartoons and stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah. And little side note, I have to say, the nice thing about, even though we're doing video podcasts, the nice thing about being shot from like the chest up is I'm like completely full Winnie the Pooh in it right now. So t-shirt only.
Oh Jesus. I'm just gonna go to the credits right now.
Hey man, it's
Graphics.
90 degrees here, okay?
Graphics.
It's 90 degrees. Jeez, it got
It
like
is. Well,
50
it's
here.
not anymore, but it got up to 90 today.
So we were talking about Kurt Russell's magnificent hair. I was reading that it took him like a little over a year to grow all that shit out.
And he was still fucking beautiful.
You know who else was considered for that role? Nick Nolte.
Oh, I could see that.
Considered for that. And Jeff Bridges.
Hmm.
And I think originally Carpenter actually wanted, Clint Eastwood to play him.
Oh no, I don't see. Now Clint Eastwood, I don't think would have done a good job with it.
No.
I don't think so. He's too intense. Like the nice thing about Kurt Russell is that even though he's intense, he did bring a specific who gives a fuck attitude to his role. You know, there was a couple of lines that he did. Like there was one line where one of the guys was like, blah, 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 we got to do something. He's like, look, man, all I want to do is go to my shack and get drunk.
I'm tired of talking, Fix. I just want to get up to my shack and get drunk. Mac, it's important.
We got to talk for a second about the fact that they went to that Norwegian facility. They see this, I don't know what that thing was. If it was a geometrical shape, it would have been a FuckedUpAgon, whatever that was that they brought back. If you saw that,
You talking about the body?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think my first inclination would be, hey,
Rat-
you know what we should do? We should bring this back with us.
We should saran wrap that up. Bring the leftovers back. Yeah.
Bring the leftovers back. And then, oh, by the way, there's some douchebag back at the station. We'll make him do an autopsy on it.
Yeah.
Because did you see the look on that guy's face when they're like, hey, we need to autopsy this? He's like, fuck, we do.
I didn't get near that damn thing.
There was a little part of me, because Wilford Brimley, I think, ended up doing most of the autopsy.
Yeah.
And he's, explaining, well, there's nothing wrong with this, and there was a little part of me that really wanted him to say, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, except diabetes. I was dying to hear him say it. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but in my mind, Wilford Brimley thought that the alien creature had diabetes.
Okay. I want to know what they put in his coffee for him to have a shit fit like he did when he was going all out after he destroyed the helicopter and started tearing up the room with the axe and he was shooting at everybody. How did he get that much energy to be an old man?
You
his
mean
mind?
Wilford Brimley, the actor, not his character. Yeah. Oh, no, that's a good, maybe that was the only scene he shot all that day, whole day.
Saved all his energy.
Like, all right, listen, Wilfred, this is first day of shooting. We're gonna need you to be really energetic. For the rest of the time, you can just stare off into the distance and nod your head.
Yeah.
And not do a whole lot. But today we're gonna need you to lose your shit for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think at that point he was probably already one of the things, wasn't he?
Could have been.
Because later in the movie, he they go and try to find him, and he had dug out a 45-foot tunnel to a 20 by 30 cavern and built a spaceship.
Yeah, where did all that come from?
The question is, how long had he been the thing in order for all that to take place?
See, that's the thing. They don't make that clear, and that's kind of Carpenter's, that's his whole thing with his movies is he wants to keep you guessing a little bit.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give you all the details. There was a shitload of expo dump in this movie. Wilford Brimley did a bunch of expo. The computer did a bunch of expo. That scene where the computer is got the cells.
Yeah.
Asteroid.
The cells playing Asteroid.
Yeah.
It went on for way too long. And I was like, boy, this is a really terrible expo right here. But, we're talking shit, but I love this movie. The thing that I love the most about it was it's realistic the way that everybody reacted.
Right.
So think about this. Think about this for a second. Crazy shit starts to happen. You're isolated. You're in the middle of nowhere. It's a desert, right? Basically. Crazy shit starts to happen. You're going to turn on one another.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a formula, and a lot of movies have been this way. You know, I just recently watched a movie called Black Mountainside, which is a Canadian film, which is kind of like this.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. But it's the same basic formula. Like, you know, weird shit happens. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Some minor stuff is revealed. Then major shit is revealed. Then everybody starts turning on one another. And then a lot of people die. And then everybody figures it out and saves the day.
You just explained the pandemic we're going through. Damn. Well, he did.
Damn.
Hell, man. Us here in the house have already started turning on each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
did that before.
According to South Park, we're just a big reality TV show.
And what about that scene where they were all tied up on the couch? Kurt Russell was testing everybody's blood. They figured out the one guy that was the thing
with the blue jean vest
started acting out, and the other three guys were on the couch. They're just screaming their asses off. Get me out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
Untie me, motherfucker!
They were stuck on the couch the whole time. Nobody tried to get them off the couch.
And if you pay attention, Kurt Russell's sitting there trying to flamethrower them with them all still attached to each other.
Oh, like flamethrower the thing.
Yeah, but
they're all still. Well,
Yeah.
that was the suspense part of it. You know, John Carpenter's like, all right, this is how this is going to go down. Like, look, he looked at his assistant director. He's like, look, you're going to fucking direct this scene. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. I don't give a fuck what you do here. Because it was a terrible scene. I will agree with you, you know. And then when Captain Eyebrows was like, you know, I don't want to spend the rest of my life in this fucking chair.
I know you gentlemen have been through a lot. And when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch!
Yeah, I never trusted that guy in that movie. There's always something about him I didn't.
He was a crack shot, boy. He took that Norwegian out with one shot of his.
I know. We discussed it.
Like
Norwegian
right in the
guy couldn't
eyeball.
Shit with a sniper rifle and a
Couldn't
scope
hit
on
that
it.
dog to save his life.
And homeboy with the flipping 6-shooter pistols shoots him in the eye from 50 yards
while
away.
he was running.
While he was running, yeah, out of broken glass window.
I know. Like, why would you? You're in Antarctica. Why would you break the window?
Oh yeah, I know. That's
It's just gonna get cold now.
Yeah.
Like, what's more important? A warm building or a dead Norwegian?
Dead Norwegian. Set him on fire to warm up the building.
There you go. Actually, that'd be a good title for the movie. What's more important? A warm building or a dead Norwegian?
It's like, what's wrong with this dog? Does this dog have parvo?
And so the scene, I know that we talked about the scene where they're on the edge of that crater where they're looking at the spaceship.
Yeah.
Number one, how the fuck did they not see that from the helicopter? Number two, so you come upon all this weird shit's happening. You see a dog, you know, eat a bunch of other dogs, and you see a dude lose his shit. You see, I think this might have been before that guy's stomach turned into one of the plants from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
But you see this spaceship in a crater, and you're like, oh, I wonder if all that weird shit that's happening back at the research facility is coming from that ship.
Yeah.
Let's go down there.
Yeah, and poke
and
around.
find out.
Yeah.
You notice Keith David didn't go on that excursion.
Strip
He was
it
like,
for
fuck all this voodoo shit.
I almost said all the white people were the ones checking shit out.
Because
Black people stayed behind and just waited for shit to get crazy.
Keith David's like, I'm not going on this voodoo bullshit excursion.
Mm-hmm. You realize he made it to the end of the movie with Kurt Russell.
Well, so did
and T.K. Carter as well.
Like last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of unclear what they why did they want to? Why wouldn't they want the alien to be frozen again? Just because they think it's going to come back?
Because the rescue team would have found it
and probably did the same thing, took it back to civilization.
Yep.
So did they not survive?
That's the question.
Probably not.
Because that movie ended really abruptly.
Yep.
Because I was writing a note and I looked up and I'm like, oh shit, credits.
What happened?
Yep.
Yeah.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. So you just assume that they both died. They froze to death.
Because one of Kurt Russell's last lines was, we're not getting out of here alive, and neither is that thing.
Yeah.
So, but we don't even know. Who knows? And there was never a sequel, so we'll never know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to Antarctica, so.
There was a prequel in 2010.
11.
I kind of, was it 11?
It was 11.
I kind of enjoyed that. You see the prequel to that, Joe?
I think I did. What was that called?
The Thing.
Oh, all right.
Still The Thing.
It's on Hulu right now if you want to watch it.
It's all this.
I've seen it.
It's all the stuff that's leading up to the opening scene of the John Carpenter one, which I thought was pretty.
Oh yeah. Because the name of like the Norwegian station is Thule, isn't it? In that movie,
I don't know.
I don't know why. I don't know why I remember that. It was every bit as good as Prometheus.
Oh, here you go.
I went into Prometheus wanting to like it, but was upset.
There's been a lot of movies. I think what we should do, and Bacon, I hate to pull you into this, but what I think we should do is just to give ourselves a cathartic closure moment, we should do Alien versus Predator. Because remember, bear with me, James, because remember you and I went and saw that movie with the expectation that no one lives.
Yeah.
Right? That there was going to be no people left at the end of that movie. And we were so mad at that movie.
Yeah.
We were so mad at that movie. I think we need to exercise that particular demon.
They could have done so much better with that.
So much better.
Even the comics were better. The Dark Horse comics that they did that line of. But yeah, it was terrible.
You guys expect too much from Hollywood that keeps churning out the same stuff over and over again.
Hey, we're just a couple of fanboys. That's all we are.
You expect too much.
One of my favorite scenes in this movie is where the one guy has the heart attack and they're working on him. You had mentioned this scene before, and the guy is trying to use the defibrillator on him, and its chest opens up. But that same scene, the guy's head rips off, falls down to the floor, sprouts spider legs, and starts tip-tapping out of the room.
Yes.
And the one guy, the high guy, the guy that's always high, looks over and goes, "You got to be shitting me." And the thing's just kind of tiptoeing out of the room like, nothing to see here.
They torched him right after that.
Yeah.
That was thoroughly good, man.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like on fire people in this movie too.
It was.
So many on fire people.
And why didn't they let them burn longer? I think I would have let it burn a little bit longer than fire, put it out.
See, it's a good thing you weren't the stunt director because a lot of people would have died.
There you go. There you go.
It's like, but Seamus, we can only let these guys burn for like 3 seconds. I don't give a shit.
I won't 10 minutes.
10 minutes of fire.
We don't have the budget. Let them burn.
Take all the fire extinguishers away from the set.
So we gotta rate the movie now. And I'll start. I will give this movie 4 Lucky Charm 4-leaf clovers.
4?
4.
Okay. I like the movie. I would highly recommend the movie. It is a classic.
Yes.
I'd have to give it 4 strips of bacon.
Joe?
Wait,
Joe, you get a flamingo or a manatee. You pick one.
You pick whichever.
Don't veer from the flamingo.
You pick whatever animal you want, Joe.
Don't fucking censor me, man.
That's right, Joe. Whatever animal you want.
You know, I
So-
spend the majority of my time looking for a graphic for your rating when I edit this.
Again, I love this movie. I mean, I'm gonna be a little stingy with this one. I'm gonna say 4.
What you got,
How's
Joe?
this being stingy if you're giving it
Can't
4?
even say it. I'm gonna say 4 angry Keith Davids in voodoo headdresses.
Keith David and voodoo headdresses.
I don't legally know if I could show a picture of Keith David with, in that position.
You'd have to just
Just put a black bar across his eyes. It'll be
Uh.
fine.
just put some voodoo headdresses up there. We'll know it's Keith David. Just don't hashtag Keith David in this podcast. He might get mad. He might come knocking at your door.
I mean, I could give it 4. I could give it 4 severely burnt Norwegians. I've been thinking about this a lot.
You're gonna get a manatee again.
Oh, come on. Don't manatee me. Don't manatee me out, man.
Give him
Don't Keith David block me.
give him 4 deranged huskies.
No, I'm sticking with Keith David. So you don't have to, maybe you don't have to put him in a voodoo headdress, but I'm sticking with 4 angry Keith Davids.
I like it. I
It's a
like it.
tribute. The
You can
guy
put
was the
angry
best
Keith
character
David
in the movie.
and just make 4 of them. You got Photoshop, bro. Just his head. Just his head.
Look, you have hit home runs up until now. that dead manatee was the shit.
Like that dead man, that was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
That was the shit.
Thank you.
That was the best part of the whole goddamn podcast.
I worked hard on that manatee.
It was good. I laughed out loud.
See, originally I thought you had said a half a dead manatee. That's why he's only like half on the screen.
Could have
But
been.
then I'm
you
like,
know?
then I put his little flipper over the edge.
saw that,
over
yeah.
the edge of the window.
Yeah. Well, you know, because they get run over by the boats.
Chopped in half.
What movie are we doing next week?
Well,
I think we discussed this already. I think we had talked off screen. We were going to do the Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Nightmare on Elm
The
Street.
original
The original. Yep.
one of my top 5, Joe.
with Johnny Depp.
Yes,
Johnny
sir.
Depp.
So here's something for our listeners to think about while they go into the Nightmare on Elm Street. So Freddy had the knives for fingers, right? The finger, the
Mhm.
knife glove.
Yep.
And then Johnny Depp goes on to do Edward Scissorhands.
Mm-hmm.
So Edward Scissorhands answers the question, what would happen if Fred Krueger and Robert Smith from The Cure had a kid? I guarantee you that's all you're going to be thinking about every time he's on screen.
And on that note, folks, catch you next week.
But
Graphics.
first,
Oh,
but first, be
But-
sure to hit the like button.
oh yeah, hit that bell.
Wait. I-
What?
I got this in my head. I got to remember it. It's
All right.
hit the like button,
Spit it out, fucker.
hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Ding.
Because there's like a specific order which this pops
Yeah,
up.
look at you. You're
Ready?
special.
You want to try it again? Take 2.
Take
I
2
thought that
without
was
the
good.
interruptions.
Who's bringing it up?
And on that note, folks, we'll catch you next week. But first, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Ding ding. Graphics.